James and Lena Morgan's marriage seemed perfect to the outside world. He was a successful lawyer, and she was a talented interior designer, but beneath the surface, their lives were unraveling. While James was consumed by his career, Lena found herself growing distant, craving excitement and passion that her husband no longer provided. Enter Ryan Harris, a charming fitness trainer with a talent for manipulation, who quickly became the spark Lena was searching for. As their secret affair deepened, James remained oblivious, trusting his wife and his best friend, Sophia, who had grown suspicious of Lena's behavior. But when James accidentally uncovers evidence of the betrayal, he must confront the reality that his perfect life is a lie. What follows is a storm of deception, revenge, and heartache, one that will test the limits of trust, loyalty, and love. Will James unravel the truth in time, or will he lose everything to the darkness of betrayal? The sun set over the city skyline, casting an orange glow over the luxury apartment that James and Lena had spent years building together. Their life seemed picture-perfect to the outside world. James was a successful corporate lawyer at one of the top law firms in the city, while Lena ran her own flourishing interior design business. They had everything: wealth, status, a beautiful home, and a love story that people envied. But beneath the surface, cracks were beginning to form. James was often busy with work, leaving early in the morning and returning late at night. His career was his life, and Lena was understanding, at least she appeared to be. But as time passed, Lena became increasingly withdrawn. Her late-night dinners with friends, spontaneous weekends away, and growing distance from James became more frequent. James, too preoccupied with his own ambitions, barely noticed the shift at first. He trusted Lena implicitly and believed her when she said she needed me time to decompress. She always reassured him that everything was fine, but the smile in her eyes seemed to be fading, replaced by a coldness he couldn't explain. It was a Tuesday evening when the first seed of doubt was planted in James's mind. He had come home after a grueling 14-hour day at the office. As he walked through the door, he noticed Lena's purse lying on the kitchen counter. Normally, Lena was meticulous about putting everything in its place, but this was unusual. He picked it up and noticed something strange: a hotel receipt. The receipt was for a 2-night stay at an upscale resort just outside the city. But the name on the receipt wasn't Lena's. James's heart skipped a beat. He immediately assumed it was a mistake. Perhaps Lena had booked the room for a business trip, but the details felt off. "Lena!" he called out. His voice was calm, but inside, a storm of questions was brewing. Lena came down the stairs, her hair still damp from a shower. "Hey, babe, what's up?" James held up the receipt. "What's this? Why is there a hotel receipt for 2 nights? You didn't tell me you were going away." Lena's face shifted for a brief moment, but she quickly masked it with a smile. "Oh, it's just a mix-up. I went to the spa last weekend with a friend. We stayed at that resort for a night. It was nothing, just a small getaway. I forgot to mention it." James nodded, but something didn't sit right. He tried to convince himself that it was nothing, but the nagging feeling in his chest wouldn't go away. The following week, Sophia called James after seeing something that disturbed her. She'd run into Lena and Ryan Harris, the local fitness trainer, at a restaurant. They were sitting too close, laughing too intimately for friends. Sophia had always been protective of James, and she knew something wasn't right. "James, I need to talk to you. I saw Lena with Ryan last night. They were together at the restaurant, alone. They didn't look like just friends." James felt a chill run down his spine. "Are you sure, Sophia?" Maybe it was nothing. "No, James, I'm telling you, it didn't feel right. I've seen them together before, and it just feels wrong. You need to pay attention." Sophia's words echoed in James's mind for the next few days. He wanted to dismiss them. He loved Lena and trusted her, didn't he? But as the days passed, the doubt only deepened. He started to notice small things that didn't add up. Lena's frequent work trips, her sudden late-night phone calls, the way she smiled in a way that didn't reach her eyes. James couldn't stand the uncertainty any longer. One evening, he returned home early from work, determined to confront Lena. He found her sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone. He sat down beside her, his heart racing. "Lena, we need to talk," he said, his voice firm but filled with hurt. Lena looked at him, surprised by his tone. "What's going on, James? You seem off." James took a deep breath, his mind racing through all the things that had been building up. "I know what's been going on," he said, his voice steady. "I know about you and Ryan." Lena's face drained of color. She quickly stood up, shaking her head. "What are you talking about? You're being paranoid." "I'm not," James said, his voice growing colder. "I know about the hotel receipt, the dinners, the secret getaways. I know about the affair." Lena's eyes filled with guilt, and she looked down, unable to meet his gaze. "James, I'm so sorry. I never meant for you to find out this way. But yes, I've been seeing Ryan. I don't know how it happened. You've been so busy, and I felt so alone. I wasn't getting the attention I needed. I didn't mean to hurt you." James felt the ground slip from under him. The pain was unbearable. His heart shattered as he processed the words. Lena, his wife, had betrayed him. "You don't know how much this hurts," he whispered, his voice barely audible. Lena's face twisted in regret, but it was too late. The trust had been broken, and James knew there was no going back. "I don't know what I was thinking, but I can't undo what I've done." In the following days, James struggled with his emotions. He wanted revenge. He wanted to make Lena and Ryan pay for what they had done. But he also knew he needed to be strategic. He couldn't let his anger control him. He had to think this through. James enlisted the help of a private investigator, someone he knew would gather the evidence he needed without raising suspicion. The investigator followed Ryan for weeks, gathering photos, videos, and evidence of Ryan's manipulative behavior with other women. James wasn't just going to expose the affair. He was going to make sure Ryan's reputation was ruined. A month passed. James had everything in place. He knew the truth, and now it was time to confront Ryan. One evening, James invited Ryan to a casual dinner at a high-end restaurant. The two men had always been cordial, but tonight, James had no intention of pretending everything was fine. As they sat down, Ryan, unaware of what was coming, ordered a drink, trying to relax. James kept his composure, but beneath the surface, he was seething with anger. "Ryan," James began, his voice calm but filled with authority, "I know about you and Lena. I know about the affair, and I know what you've been doing." Ryan laughed, trying to deflect the situation. "James, I have no idea what you're talking about. You're overreacting." James slid a folder of photographs across the table. "I don't think I am. These are just a few of the things I have on you. Your history, your manipulation, your lies." Ryan's face paled as he realized the gravity of the situation. "You can't do this. You have no proof." "I have all the proof I need," James replied. "And I'm going to make sure everyone knows who you really are." The fallout was swift and brutal. James released the evidence to the public, exposing Ryan's true nature and the affair. Lena, now facing the consequences of her actions, was left alone and broken. James filed for divorce. He moved on with his life, not out of bitterness, but because he had learned that sometimes the hardest thing you can do is let go. Lena tried to reach out, but James no longer cared. He had reclaimed his life, his self-respect, and his peace of mind. James stood at the edge of a new chapter in his life. He had been through the darkness and emerged stronger. He had learned that betrayal wasn't just about another person. It was about how you choose to handle it. The experience had reshaped him. As he stood outside his office, looking out at the skyline, he knew he had taken back control. The truth always finds its way to the surface, he thought, his heart at ease. Thank you so much for watching. The Unseen Betrayal. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more gripping tales like this. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think James handled the situation the right way? What would you have done in his shoes? Let us know. Thanks again, and take care.